about the Peak. And something that I mentioned, but I never really got into why we did it, was the music that we have. We are a news show, but if you're listening to the broadcast, you won't hear it on the podcast because we don't have a license to do that. But since it's out of Salem, we have a broadcast license for music. And so storytelling, I love to tell stories, that's what this is about on the radio, is I picked out pieces of music that I thought would help tell the story of what we're trying to do. And so we start at the top and bottom of every hour with Rock This Town, which is a Stray Cats song. And that's really what we set out to do. We want to rock this town. We want to break things up. We want to be a disruptor, I guess that's the word that people use, in the media industry here. And then, in order to mock the media for not doing their job, we have Dirty Laundry from Don Henley. We have Would I Lie to You from the Eurythmics. We have Radio, which is an Elvis Costello song about, you better listen to the radio. And we thought that helps tell the story. I know that this is something that people do in radio more on music stations. It isn't so much done in the news. But we want you to be thinking, we want you to bring in, especially if you're a child of the 70s and 80s, right? These songs are coming out of that era, that they relate to you. Those are the age group that tends to listen to talk radio. But we have here with us in the studio right now, we have Just a Guy, Jim Miller, and James Fiddler, our #1 intern, and Zach Goldman, my son, has been interning for us and helping me do all the bits and pieces around here. What have you thought about the music and the importance of music in our program?
I think it's probably my favorite part about the Peak is the music, because music is such
Fiddler.
I'm James. Music is such a simple yet emotional thing, and it can bring out emotions in you that other mediums or other pieces of art can't, I guess. Yeah. And I think there's something really special about that.
Zach, you're a musician.
I love music so much. I mean, hey, any opportunity we can add music into something, I mean, I love it. And I like the songs, and I think we could like be super creative in different situations.
We can do a lot more.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I picked these clips. We sometimes we put in some others, like on Education Day. We have school days. And some other things that we've put in there at times. But overall, I picked this, and we're so busy doing the program that we haven't really switched it up. And somehow these songs are so great.
Yeah.
You hear a little clip every time and not. But I would love, as we get more people and interns in here, to start finding pieces of music that really fit the guest. So Jim Miller, Just a Guy, if we were to pick a song for you, if we never had a theme song, music for you, what would you pick?
I don't know. Probably something from the Misfits, something in their lineup.
What's
most
that?
Likely.
The one where Eagle something?
Oh yeah, where eagles fly.
Yeah. You played that one for you.
Oh yeah, you did. That's right. You found it and put it on there when I came on the very first time talking. That's right.
Then. We should have a soundtrack.
Or maybe some White Zombie, More Human Than Human. That's a little more my speed. I get the music thing. It does bring up memories. Nostalgia always hits everybody hard, and doesn't matter if even if the topic's not nostalgic. If the music is, it can cue people right in pretty good, right with the emotions there.
Okay, well, you're listening to the Peak, and we're celebrating our first anniversary. We're reminiscing a little. In the next segment, we're going to be bringing on Jordan Baldwin, our investigative reporter. He's here in the studio. Matt West, our producer, and some more with Jim Miller and the Peak Rants. We're seeking to do news in an unconventional way. Grassroots, citizen journalism, music, stories that you don't hear anywhere else. That's the Peak. We say the quiet stuff out loud, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we need Matt and Jordan in here.
I have that song on the Peak playlist.
And Jim.
You still do? Yeah.
Well, I asked him to get all the full format of the music and make a playlist for the party.
Oh, okay.
So we'll finally be hearing the songs. Jordan!
Gotcha. Okay.
Hey,
Phones.
glad you're here, man.
Phones.
Yeah.
Okay, so first Matt, then Jordan, then over to Jim.
In order to be on
And then
camera,
some quick.
you want to be you gotta watch the picture.
Well, you can look up there and see that you're in the camera.
Am I in frame?
Well, you might be framed there, but for some reason here it's cut short, so I don't know why.
Oh, because it goes out on an angle. it's a triangle that's going out. So the farther away from the camera, the more that you get in the shot.
What about
Well, I
a
understand
triangle?
that. I'm just saying like this is cropped compared to that.
I'm saying that the
Oh, a
a
triangle.
triangle. it
I'm
goes
saying if
up.
you're on camera there, you might not be on the live stream because
Oh.
it seems like the windows.
It's weird. It should get the full feed.
I don't know, but
Okay,
anyway,
one minute, guys.
The more Matt,
So Matt,
you
you're
guys
first.
better.
Okay,
So
cool.
just, the concept of the show and what it's been like producing it and complicated. I don't mind if you talk how complicated it is. And also that we, the interns, like the.
Yeah,
the-
I was definitely going to go into that there.
And then, Jordan, investigative journalism, but quite generic, if you want to mention like some just topics.
I got them right here.
But no depth.
I just
here.
got bullet points. Yep, gotcha.
And then a Jim, like what it's meant for him to do the rants, and then with a couple minutes left of like what are we looking forward to. So that'll be more of a speed round of what do we think we can do in year 2 that we haven't gotten to yet, or whatever. So this is our 12-minute segment. Okay. Cool.
Okay. It's a pretty fancy watch.
Casio, it's the way to go.
Hey, hon, did you see his watch? That'll bring you back.
Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer on the Salem Media Network, and here in Colorado Springs. And a year ago today, we launched the Peak. So happy anniversary to us. And I want to do a shout out. Tend to do a shout out to individual sponsors, but I want to do a shout out to all of our sponsors. Thank you so much for believing in what we're doing, for knowing that, right now we're building something that you want to be part of and provide this service. And so I ask all of you as our listeners, our fans, listen to the commercials and patronize these businesses. Let them know that the Peak sent you. Go on our website. We have hot links to all of them. And if you're out there going, you know what, I've been listening to you. You keep asking for more sponsors because we'd have more availabilities, and we'd love you to become part of here. If you're a business owner or run an organization, please reach out to us through thepeak.news. Go to our sponsorship page, get that information. We're happy to talk with you, and we want you to become part of the team because we are local stories told by local citizens, supported by local businesses. And that's why we are this scrappy grassroots organization that says the quiet stuff out loud, because we make up the rules as as we go here. So if you're on our Facebook, which is the Peak News Media, you'll see that we're sitting here in the booth, and I've just said let's bring all the regulars back in and sift them in and out. So we wanted to start this segment with Matt West, who, when I came here, is an employee of Salem. He does so much around here, but he officially is the producer of the show, even though I'm the executive producer. And so to Matt, what does that mean that you're the producer of the show here?
Well, I think, what I do is I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, a lot of the technical stuff, helping make this show get on the air. Now, I do have to say, though, by the way, to Jim's point in the last segment, I think we need some Misfits as the bumper music. We do need that.
Okay.
So we'll have James work
Because
on
really, we're just all a bunch of misfits here, right?
that. Yeah. So no,
We don't fit anywhere.
it's been an honor to be the producer of this show, and a lot of what I do, like I said, is the background stuff, the tech stuff. And you talked about telling stories, right? Well, to tell the stories here, you need a microphone, you need a board, you need a transmitter. There's a lot of things you need, but there's actually a whole lot of stuff that goes between that. The daily operations of the technical side of making a show run, keeping the computers on time, and all of this stuff. Everything you hear on the air has to be done, and it's set up by hand to do that.
And this is a pretty complicated show, and I tend to walk in seconds before we go, without even mic checks or stuff. So how's that been trying to produce? Because this show has a lot more moving parts than the general turn on the mic and talk for an hour that we do here at Salem a lot.
Yeah, well, it does, and there have been times where I've been sitting over there in the control room, and I was wondering, well, are we going to have a host for today? I don't see him sitting there in front of the microphone, and but sure enough, you always manage to come in here, start on time, and to your credit though, putting on a daily radio show is a lot of work.
Especially news, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's honestly a lot of work, and I love what you've been able to do with your interns, because for me, coming into this, it was kind of neat. I've produced a lot of shows in the past, and I think what was neat about this is you came in and said, hey, we want to do a live and local news show. how do we get that on the air? How do we make it sound good? And being able to be a part of that from square one. I've come into shows and I've worked on a lot of them, but what was cool is coming into this.
No, we had lots of meetings before we ever launched about this.
Yeah, and coming into it from scratch, basically, and building something new from the ground up. And now you've brought in your interns, and the coolest thing, I think, from my perspective, has been, for example, training James. He was our first, official intern, and now he's an employee. He's been running the board, but we have other interns now, too, and it's cool because he's now training the next generation of interns himself, right? And he's taken some of the things I've showed him, and he's actually created his own flair on it and taught them new ways to do it. And I think that's really cool, and that's really powerful.
And this is how you break into media. You got to get in the door, and so internships are what it's about. And so we're so happy to do that in a world where news budgets are being cut. Nobody's launching news shows, and we thought, how can we do this from a volunteer internship basis and make it mutually beneficial for everybody? And we're starting to get there. Well, someone that joined us, about 6 months ago when we were doing the calls for We Need Citizen Journalists, and Jordan Baldwin showed up, and he was already doing First Amendment media, and I was looking at the type of stuff that he's done and really liked it, and how he was digging for stories all over the place. And so we've really become partners in a way, and he's been on the forefront of these stories that we've been doing, especially the Mayor Yemi story and others, that these stories just aren't being told in town. So Jordan, so happy to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and it really is great to have the Peak and the Pikes Peak community and have an outlet for these stories, because prior to
Yeah, no one else was really. he was just on YouTube.
yeah, prior to connecting with Hyam and the Peak, I really didn't have an outlet other than YouTube and maybe one other person nationally that was even looking at my stuff, let alone putting it out. They weren't willing to even consider putting this stuff out. So I was digging into a lot of different topics. I think I first joined you through a Zoom meeting, a citizen journalist Zoom meeting, and just introduced myself, heard what you guys were doing, you heard what I was doing, and it just really fit. And it wasn't this controlled model of, you got to do this, you got to report on this, you got to do this. It was more, let's partner together to tell this story. And I really like that, because you don't find that anywhere else, especially locally. It's hard to find anywhere, but especially locally. And the fact that the Peak is supported by listeners and local businesses is huge, because I can tell you that a lot of the reason I believe that my stories weren't getting out is because of corporate media, because of all these special interests that hold back these stories. They don't want them to get out there. They think that it could hurt their image.
Yeah, the only special interest we have here is serving the community and making sure that we can pay Salem every month to stay on the air. And other than that, we're open to really any stories, hard news stories, soft. Maybe as we get much bigger, we'll have to be more selective. But at this point, honestly, there's still so much opportunity if you have stories to tell. But this isn't what happens. You don't call us and we send someone out to tell the story. We say, no, you tell the story. We'll give you the platform. We'll coach. Right now, talk about how you're working with interns now.
Yeah, so
Jordan.
I mean, we have the citizen journalist interns, then we have the Peak Educational Foundation, and both of those programs have been just going great. We have the citizen journalists who are reporting on topics that they're passionate about or they're knowledgeable on, one things they've been digging on, kind of like me with First Amendment media. And then the interns are really learning how to get the story. We have Audra, as you know, she was on the program here not too long ago, and I mean, she has just amazed me with the skills that she's developed in, but also her ability to get these stories on the topics that she picked. These were topics she picked, and we're just helping her develop her skills in those things. So it's great to see that. It's great to see all this. And I don't know of anybody else doing this type of thing. So to be able to be a part of this, I just feel very blessed.
Well, thank you. You've brought so much here, and there's so much stuff that Jordan's on. He can't even tell me who his sources are, things like that. I mean, we're actually getting into investigative journalism, folks, but we need money and we need human resources to go do this. So please go to thepeak.news and join us and help us tell these stories. There are so many stories in this town. They're like, I like to say, the bodies are buried with an arm above ground. Like, they're there to be picked up and run with because no one else is doing it. And who better to do it than the citizens here? So, Jim Miller, just a guy. Peak rant. Saw Jim, because I put out a voter guide. I was going to these mayoral forums when he was running in the field of 12 in the 2023 Colorado Springs mayoral election. And I said, this guy, I got to get this guy on the radio. He's radio gold because he's just unfiltered and real. Jim, thanks for doing the rants for the past year.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's been very therapeutic. It let me get all my grumpy stuff out. It's the same thing all the rest of us are mad about and grumpy. And
See, I keep one finger on the dump button while
just in case,
If you don't know what that is,
we
that's
did download a duck noise, so if I do slip up and say a curse word, there's it goes
the
quack.
dump button backs us up 7 seconds.
Yeah,
and
it goes
dumps back.
quack.
He's
That's
just
all
a
it
guy.
does. But no, it's been good. It's been interesting. I mean, now I got a year in radio. I mean, that means what? I'm nine years away from getting Harrison Ford money. So we'll keep it up because it took Harrison Ford 10 years to get Harrison Ford money. But no, it's been good. It's been therapeutic. It's good to kind of get it out. And then there's a lot of people that complain about the same things I complain about or try to do something better to do things. I mean, everybody knows I only ran for mayor because I was mad and angry and nobody's listening. Nobody cares about any real problems. They just want to hear nice, soft pillow talk. It's a pretty fluffy world out there. And yeah, it was a sea of 12. And some of them were pretty superficial and just, they got some sweet, sweet words to say and answer nothing at the same time.
And so, if people know the reference, Andy Rooney from 60 Minutes fame, the sort of the sarcastic, grumpy guy at the end of the news show, that's what I refer to him, because you know what, we don't want to take ourselves too seriously, but Jim has really been able to combine, and it's different all the time, but you know, I think a rant is absolutely, you know, how we define it, but you know, sometimes it's sentimental, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's really hard-hitting, it's poignant, it's really what's on Jim's heart at the time. So Jim, how have people, when you now go out into the community, how are people responding that have, you know, have become listeners, become fans of you?
A lot of them just, they were like, I like what you were complaining about. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Seems like something I would have got in trouble for as a kid complaining about something, but it seems to work pretty good out in the community of the people that do listen to it, which I have to thank them for it because I don't know if it's because I hear myself all the time or not, or I'm around myself all the time, but I wouldn't listen to me complain about nothing. So they must be a special type of people.
Well,
so
and they may not catch every show, but,
Yeah.
But we listen to them all. Well, we have very short time left in the segment, but I'll just say moving forward, we had a plan. Of course, you never get to everything that you want to. I have bigger visions, but what we really want to do this year and what we've been doing is less of me, bringing on more guest hosts, having more reporters, you know, getting in great guests still. But really wanting this to become, this is not the Chaim Goldman Show, it's not the Peak even with Chaim Goldman, it's the Peak News. And this really is community radio. And so in this year, I envision more involvement, less of me, and more of y'all. So please go on the Peak.News and join us in some capacity. When we come back, well, we're going to be highlighting our educational foundation and our interns, including Seth, who's given me a motion now that we're out of time. You're listening to the Peak. We'll be right back.
Hey, not to put Audra on the spot, but we do have her in the
Okay,
boardroom.
if she
if
wants
you
to
wanna
come in, bring them all in. But we have very little
All
time.
right, I'll go.
Oh,
Careful.
I'm so sorry.
you want to do a rant? Do you have a first anniversary rant? Can you do it in like 2 minutes? And
I can do one.
Hang that up on
It
that
might be a
far
little shorter
one.
than that,
This
but I'll
one
be right
actually
well, but I'm
goes
gonna
over
know
here.
when to throw to you. But when I'm gonna be looking at the timing, so when I give you 30 seconds,
Yeah,
it's gotta
alright,
be.
I'm sure I can do one.
And I'll count you down to those last 10, so you can do. Okay.
Sweet. Thanks for the
Thanks,
airtime.
man. Yeah.
By the way,
Hopefully not too self-serving on it. I think
By
what
the
you're
way,
doing is really good.
three-quarters of the way out is
Is it
get you-
perfect?
Yeah, so
It's a little echoey.
that's usually what happens. It hits a sweet spot. Okay. So.
Oh, nice. They let me by myself in here.
Were you good? Be our oldest intern.
I'm an intern.
That's an
Hey
intern.
Jim, can you stand? And I'll have you sit
Where do you
down
want
and
me
do
to
the
sit?
rant. Go here. You go here.
The Peak
No,
Educational
Brett.
Foundation is here.
Hey. Okay.
Not
Come
here.
in. Yeah, you can come on.
Bring in the
And
chair.
is Seth gonna come in from the booth?
Bring a chair. We need a chair, guys. Can you get the chair?
What?
Okay, somebody needs to scooch up, or someone else needs to go there.
Okay, guys, we're back in a minute.
No, I'm like it.
So you got a chair in here?
My mic, that'll be- or we'll share it.
Do you even have headphones?
Laugh or whatever.
Okay. So remember, this is quick answers. You don't have lots of time. We're just gonna, what's the
Gonna hijack
internship
this
meant
whole
to you?
Around and make me say something. I can't spin that.
Okay, we're back in under a minute.
So, we'll just share this one, I guess.
I'll refer to you as our oldest
Unless-
intern.
Okay, very good. Yes.
Like,
What?
is that one on?
What?
Yeah, it is.
So
Man,
should I?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah.
Okay.
It does
I-
work.
You have headphones, right, Audra? Okay.
Yep.
Can you make sure it's Seth that Seth can hear you?
It's the next page.
Can you hear me? Check,
It's
check,
on
check.
mic some, so it's all good.
Okay. You did a thumbs up. Well, it's not on for us, but it should be on for Q.
Right, but I hit it a couple times. I don't know.
I said check.
Just
and
out of
he
habit.
does thumbs up. He's,
Okay, guys, 10 seconds.
and if I start talking, I'll steer your mic. Okay, I'm gonna adjust this now. Wait, can we sing along to the music?
Shh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Welcome back to the Peak News as we are celebrating our first anniversary. And we have in the studio for this final segment, we're going to be talking about our educational foundation and our interns. We have our interns packed in here. But first, we're going to have our oldest intern,
That's right.
Brett Stevens, who is my direct report here at Salem. Brett, thank you so much for supporting us over the past year and before that. What have you seen here? What's your official title here?
Operations manager.
Operations
And
manager.
oldest intern.
Right, and oldest intern.
Yes.
So what have you seen, happen in, for the past year around here with all the activity in the Peak? How's that? Have we disrupted things here at Salem enough?
First of all, congratulations on the year. I feel like that's gone very quickly. And just to look back and see, you had this idea, this concept, we talk about it in the hallway, but when you actually see it come to fruition, it's exciting. All the people that have gone through here, the effort you've put into it, it's an hour program, but there's so much going on throughout the day, throughout the evening, mornings, weekends, and you and your team here, very impressive team. It keeps growing and fluctuating, and so congrats. That's one of the big things. I didn't know exactly what the Peak was going to be as you described it, and now it's blossomed. It's huge.
Yeah,
I can't wait for year two.
Well, thanks so much for all the support. And Brett's the one who calls me and he goes, "Hi, you got to get in the studio a little bit quicker. You're stressing everybody out." Like he has to look out for the actual employees. I'm a tornado. So thank you for helping me get this done. throughout the
Congrats
years.
again.
Thank you so much. So quickly to our interns, we have an educational foundation called the Peak News. The Peak News Educational Foundation, and its purpose is to raise up a new generation of journalists, young and old, but we're specifically focusing on youth. And from the beginning, this was about having interns here. So let me, start with James. James was our very first intern, and then ended up, Brett came to me one day and said, "Hey, can we hire him?" And I said, just don't. He still needs to intern. But James, how's the past year been for you?
Pretty good. Apparently, I'm pretty decent at pushing buttons, so it's pretty solid. But yeah, good year. I came in here and learned a lot from Matt. You guys heard him in the last segment, and learned a lot from Brett. Learned a lot from all of you guys, really.
And now you're training other interns.
Now I'm training other people, which is crazy.
Right. And he's just 20 years old, going to college, working all bunch of jobs, but now has on his resume
And doing other shows
broadcast
too, which
media.
is pretty sick.
True. And
Yeah.
we had you guest host.
Yeah, that
at
was
one
awesome.
point. So
I
that
love
was cool.
hosting. It's cool.
So you can go back to that. Okay, quick, over to Zach Goldman, my son, who's been on this journey 18 plus years with me, but came in here about 6 months ago to be my personal assistant and book thing and all the stuff that was falling through the cracks for me. Thanks, Zach. You've done such a great job. What's the experience been like for you interning here?
It's been really good, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of things that come into it. It just keeps changing. There's more things that keep getting added to it.
Every 3 minutes. Yeah.
Seriously, it's definitely right. I feel like I'm just riding along with the tornado, like you were saying. So I guess I'm going through it too. But it's been really valuable, learning all kinds of cool skills, and yeah, I'm
And
excited.
Zach gets to talk to, like, the VIPs in the city. At 18, he's building relationships with people.
I get to
that-
talk to James. Like,
Yeah, James. Sure, he gets to know James. So thank you, Zach. It's been awesome, and thank you for what you're continuing to do. Zach actually got us to the point where we had guests like a month out, which I was,
wow.
except tomorrow, and we'll talk about that. Audra. Hi. You came in from high school, started working with Jordan Baldwin as an investigative reporter, journalist, intern. What's the experience been like?
Well, it's been hectic, but I've had so much fun and I've learned so much in just a short time. And it's just been exciting. I was on the radio. That's insane for me. I'm usually pretty introverted, so it's
Here
so
you
much
are
fun.
again.
By the way, very common for us to be introverts in front of the mic because nobody talks back. And so
That's
it's
right.
really easy. We can just talk and there's no stress. So it's very common. You think it wouldn't be, but it actually is. So thank you and look forward to what you're going to be reporting on. Finally, in the booth, running the board, Seth, who just turned 18. Seth, how's it been for you, the internship here? Wonderful. Well, thank you, Seth. And Seth dresses up in a different something every time he comes in. We never know. So he helps keep us entertained here also. So thank you, Seth, and look forward to what you're going to be doing. Jim, let's get you in the chair because we're going to have a live rant from Jim Miller here on the program. And I would just say, for the Educational Foundation and everything, help us to get to give more young people the opportunity to break into media. And we're having an event coming up called the Taste of the Peak. It's at the Pinery on January 30th. We're going to have great speakers, food, and it's all to the benefit of our Educational Foundation. Go to thepeak.news/events for more information. Jim, we're giving you under 2 minutes, but what is your first anniversary rant? Jim Miller, just a guy.
All right, so I'm Jim Miller. This is a nice live little rant here for everybody. Anyways, anniversaries, birthdays, all this fun-filled stuff that just continues to go on. Every little rotation around the sun, if you will. Most of us dread them. Most of us don't like them. We forget about them. We're married. We forget our kids' birthdays. We're busy. We're overworked. We're overtaxed. We're tired. We're grumpy. Got so many things going on and overwhelmed that we forget about these things. Then we get reminded in a dreadful fashion, forgetting what the real true essence is of what? An anniversary, the birthday, the ceremony of things going on for one more rotation around the sun, one more year again. So what is that? It should be a celebration. It should be happy. It should be good. It should be great. Something that's been great, ceremonious, I guess is the word I was looking for. But it should be a celebration. It should be fun. Usually we dread them. We look at them as gifts, things that have to cost us more money to keep going. It's supposed to be a celebration of the times that are both good and bad. Yeah, sure, it's fun and neat when it's good, but let's not forget to get to that anniversary. There's a lot of bad going on. A lot of stress, a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of friction, a lot of time, a lot of lack of. Nobody's schedules mending up together. So here it is with it. It's anniversary for the Peak. So congratulations to the Peak. And that means to you too, the listeners out there. Remember, if you want it better, be better. Happy anniversary, and thank you for listening to us. I'm Jim Miller. I'm just a guy. And this is the Peak Rants.
Beautiful. Okay. So I just got the close and party time. So if you
Nice.
guys,
All right.
if you guys want to stay here and do a
Wrote it all
hoot
down.
or whatever
Being on the
at
hot
the end.
tightrope is fun.
I do
I can do it.
Can't believe
that's way more
Wish
my
I had the
speed.
full
He knows.
thing on full quality up there, but hopefully we
less
got
prepared,
stuff in
the better I
Riverside
am.
that we can.
I like how
Could you-
James likes the music.
Wi-Fi
I like
may
the
have
context, but
gone
I'm
out
glad you like the
randomly.
music.
Which means at least we don't have a full recording of it.
Everything turned out
From
well.
the beginning too?
We
Nice.
still got.
Because the first
Minute
two
left,
segments are when
Yeah.
we weren't rolling the
At the
camera.
point when you went to the camera, I looked over and had like just disconnected from the Wi-Fi. or
Should I
something
put this
like that.
out or
So
leave
we're
this in, or-
missing.
Sure, you can put it
I
out.
don't know how long. We'll see.
But has it been screening since then?
Yes.
You got it
You're
fine?
good.
So we may have lost in that.
Body's looking good right
I
now.
mean, my mistake for not turning the camera on out of all the shows, but.
Mistakes.
It was funny when Brett was just sitting there and he didn't have his headphones on, so we're all just sitting in silence, and Brett doesn't know what's going on.
I didn't realize that.
What about the music?
I offered him my headphones.
No, with when Seth was talking.
Oh yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
you couldn't hear. That's funny. I didn't even think about that. Wait, where'd you get that shirt?
The girls in the family made a whole bunch for me because
Nice.
they thought it was a good idea for Christmas. I thought it was kind of corny, but they like it, so
Not
I
bad
told them
shirt.
I'd wear them when I go on the thing.
Yeah, hey, it fits you well. And it looks like the font's nice, dude.
They like it. They made it and spent a lot of time on it.
So
So
you gotta wear it now.
We have somebody to like tip the pizza guy. You didn't include
I
it.
didn't include it, yes,
Okay,
about that.
so he should be sharp. Somebody needs to be ready to pick up the pizza, if not you, and to give
Right,
him a
I
drink.
don't know who's around.
Well, we made it.
We made it. Yep. Good show so far.
Yeah. We don't even know what our show is tomorrow. So that's part of it. Anybody else coming in? We got
Anyone want to come in?
come in for a
Anyone
final
want to come in?
Hoot Nanny.
Random thing? Okay, go. Hey, Yanni, you want to come?
Well, is there any guests here yet?
No, and Yolanda's here.
Okay.
Should I offer Yoni to come in?
If you want, somebody's just gonna. Okay.
Maybe
Okay,
bring
30
that up,
seconds,
that
but-
you don't know what the show is.
No, I am.
Maybe that
I'm
could be
just like,
poignant.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's just so. I mean, then this happens, but I'm sure we'll have one by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. You can sit there.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
That's my brother's.
Well, we made it through a year. This is really big for us, and there've been a lot of struggles to get here. We were off the air for a couple of months because we just tapped out financially, and we had to regroup and think things through and go back to our sponsors, which have been awesome, and talk to them. And we need more. We want more sponsors, but more than anything, we want you to join us in some way as a listener, as a guest, as a co-host, as a sponsor, as an intern, as a citizen journalist, because the vision is citizen journalism, and in a way that isn't being done but needs to be. The media overall has fallen. Corporate media, nobody trusts it anymore. The budgets aren't there for doing things. This really is this combination of local people working on it, a level of staff doing it at broadcast, having support from local businesses as well as grants, and we're having a fundraiser coming up for our nonprofit. All of these things coming together in order to serve the community well. And so if you feel that the media has not been doing its job, I agree. And if you think that we're not doing our job that well, we're gonna do a checkmate on you. Come help us. Don't complain. Come help us in some capacity. Well, we are here Monday through Thursday on AM 1460, and on tomorrow's show, we don't know. That happens. We book things ahead of time, but people don't call us back. Things go through. We actually don't know. It's Media and Education Day. We have some things that we're thinking of, but I guarantee you'll be here at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll have a program. And that's the exciting thing about doing radio. Coming up next is the Larry Elder Show here on The Answer. Go to thepeak.news and listen to our 150, 160, 170. I don't know what we're up to
I think we're
now.
173.
173. So is today 174?
175. Actually,
175, 175th show today. The Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud, and in our second year, we're going to say it much, much louder for such a time as this. Happy anniversary to us. Shalom. Woo-hoo! Okay.
Great.
All of us can hoot and blow shofar at the same time.
Yes. You turn things off here as well. And let's go. I want to get ready for my. I think I'm going to wear my Salem jacket for this thing.
Yeah, I should too.
No, it was the.
Okay.
Hey, it's Barney.
So basically, I think maybe we should set some goals.
Like,